Hell Has an Exit podcast with host Teddy Tarantino. New episodes every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to subscribe.
All right, hey guys, welcome to Hell Has an Exit. I'm your host, Teddy Tarantino. Today we have Eugene Henley, Big U, in the building. What's going on?
What's up,
How you doing, bro? I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You don't sleep for real.
No, I don't.
That's crazy. How many hours of sleep you get?
Average. Probably most. I don't know. Hours of sleep is kind of that's a kind of funny question.
Why you get minutes of sleep?
I get minutes of sleep because I'm dozing off. Like I sleep in the car.
Really?
Like if I'm headed to a destination, boom, I'll be sleeping.
You're always like that?
I think I always because my kids are like that.
They don't sleep?
Well, I don't. They sleep, but no matter what, they fall asleep in the car.
Really? Okay, so you fall asleep in the car.
And they wake up. I guess it's like the moving the car, but I'm up.
Do you take naps? Is that it?
I take doses.
Doses?
We don't use that word.
Okay, you're right.
Quote unquote. But that's a different conversation. Yeah, I doze off, man. I'm pretty much up. I doze off, get a little rest, and then I'm back up. I'll be popping.
That's crazy. Let me ask you something. So for people that don't know or seeing you for the first time, can you give us a little background, who you are, what you do?
I'm in South Central LA, like most people. I had a rough past. Did a lot of different things, multiple times, multiple stints running with the law. Did some time. Pretty much a stickler from LA, like street name.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Can you real quick, just talking about like what your childhood was like growing up?
Growing up, I'm the quintessential of the LA story. You know, single parent, my mother, brothers and sisters 4 and 5. Got into gang life early. Started getting in trouble, going through school, doing bad.
What do you think it is about like the gang life that's so attractive to young men?
It's kind of different. Like, it's some instances in LA, it's not even about attraction. Sometimes you get forced into it. Yeah. Sometimes you are affiliated by your residents. Like if you live on a certain street, so in a lot of cases it's not really an attraction. It's kind of like a duty.
Gotcha.
It's almost like it's a birthright.
Wow.
And then in this newer generation, you're born into it. Like if you Big U, then you Big U son, and you get that name and it kind of follows you. So in this era, it's kind of inherited now.
Gotcha. Interesting. So what was growing up like for you?
I would say I had fun. Yeah. I can't really say I had a bad life because I wouldn't have knew
bad childhood.
A bad life, bad childhood. I wouldn't never knew what the difference of good and bad was. So my mother, I didn't know what I didn't have. Let me just say that.
Gotcha.
Until I got older and realized, like, damn, we was living bad.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times people don't know they're broke until they get older because, like, if you have a good childhood or a good parents, you kind of don't know the difference.
Right. And I was kind of in that situation. And I think I didn't start really like stealing and robbing until we got to the point to where I didn't want to carry food stamps no more. And I think that happened like elementary. Then I started understanding food stamp. We get to school, we the only ones got food stamp. Yeah. And everybody else got money. You're like, damn. So I was kind of like the kid who turned lemonade. I was that kid. Yeah, I was that kid. I had got smart, and I started trading, selling people food stamps. Okay. For cash. Smart. And then I reversed it and started buying food stamps.
And then selling them for cash.
And selling them for cash. So it kind of like, I got into a business that it kind of happened by happenstance. And so going through elementary, I would buy food stamps.
Wow. And
75 cents on the dollar. Yeah. And it kind of started with me first selling our food stamps. And because my mother was never on the county. She would just get food stamps because I would see her trade the food stamps with people. And then I was like, that was a pretty good idea. So
now you can use them for other stuff.
And I would and I was basically, my mother was like, telling my aunties, like, that boy got a bunch of food stamps. And I would just try to get the books and find a way to try to get them back. And I would tell people, give me the whole book with the food stamps still in the book. Because if you're too young to remember that. You're not old enough to remember it. But the other people who's close to my age
they were real for stamps.
It was real in the stamp books. And most people wanted a full book. So when I get enough, I would give people what I had and give them a little extra to get the full book.
And what were you using the money on in elementary school?
Man, really, to be honest with you, I don't know what I was using the money on because I was cutting grass. I was cutting grass too. I started cutting grass. I had a little lawnmower business. And what was I using the money on?
You bought like comic books, gum.
Oh yeah, definitely. We bought comic books.
Yeah.
I definitely bought comic books. Buy comic books. Saving.
What comics would you read?
I read everything DC.
Really? You're a DC guy?
I was a DC
You watch
guy.
all the movies?
All right now.
Oh,
still
that's crazy.
Right now. One of my business partners is Malcolm Spellman. He's the writer that created a new
oh really?
Of the new Captain America.
I saw you wearing Dragon Ball Z socks today.
I wear all that, man.
You had one Dragon Ball Z and one Little Mermaid. Right? I noticed that. I was like, where you get these socks from?
Yeah. I make those.
Do you watch Dragon Ball Z?
No, I don't watch
okay. I was going to say.
But I know the characters because I know the kids.
Okay.
I've been coaching. I coach some of the kids.
Yeah.
And in coaching, you have to be able to communicate with the kids.
Gotcha.
So I can say, when certain plays, it'll be this Dragon Ball Z play. One play will be
really?
Yeah, because they'll catch that.
Because they'll remember that.
They'll remember that faster than me telling
I wish
them.
I had you as a football coach.
Yeah, because if you say stuff
stuck.
that they can relate to, they'll catch it. Like they'll never miss the Dragon Ball Z.
So you'll be like, yo, this is a Dragon Ball Z play?
I can call Dragon Ball Z. I can call whatever have you, and they'll know that because they can relate to that.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's like just when you coaching, you kind of got to meet the kids where they are.
What got you into coaching?
But this time, when I paroled, I had just did 13 years in prison for robberies and all kind of stuff. I left in 1991, and then I came back in 2004. My youngest son, Dayon, who just made it to the
congratulations. There you go.
Chargers.
LA Chargers.
No, saying Chargers. I came home. My youngest son was 4. My oldest son, he was 14. My middle son would have been about 11.
Dayon was 14 or he was 4?
No, Dayon was 4.
4.
Michael was my oldest son, would have been 13 or 14. And then Jabari would have been about 10.
Okay.
So they were all playing football.
All of them?
All of them.
What was it about them playing football that was important to you?
Well, structure.
Okay.
Like I said, I left in 1991. By
were
the time
you playing
I came
sports
home,
as a kid?
Yeah, I played.
Okay.
I tore my knee
football.
up playing at Crenshaw High School. I had a button. I got a zipper all the way down.
Wow.
Here.
So that high school we went to today is the high school you went to?
I played football. Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
There.
That's
I
crazy.
played
And all your
there.
sons went there too?
No, the oldest one didn't go there.
Okay.
Both of the
But
last
the other
two
ones went
there.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. The oldest one went to Santa Monica High School, and he broke all the records running back up there.
Wow.
And so so when I come home in 2004, I'm watching my middle son, and I'm at one of his practices, and the guys wasn't really instructing him correctly. And so when we got to the game, the guy was arguing with my son and the other linebackers and telling him to do stuff they hadn't taught him.
Gotcha.
So I was at the practice a couple of weeks in a row, and naturally you watching your son and what people was imparting.
Of course, yeah.
And so the guy and so I was like, dang, you didn't teach him this part. Like,
yeah. So how can you tell him to do the play you never practiced?
and you tell him what he's supposed to do. And so they assumed I was talking about them, but I was reinforcing what the coach had said from a point of view of like he may not teach it to you, but I think what he meant was this.
Gotcha.
So they assumed
that you were saying, oh, he don't,
and
the
they thought I was talking crazy about the coach. And so that kind of went one way, and it was the honest God truth. It was I was coaching my home with Al, and he ended up turning into something different because the way they thought I was talking to my son, I'm like, look, I'm talking to my son, 1, 2, I was reinforcing what you said, you know, and you need to learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
And then they was already like on this big U thing, and
they felt like intimidated.
No, they felt intimidated. So one turned to another thing, and I said, "Look, let's just go around the other side of the park."
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked the other three, like, everybody, let's all go over here. And then I was the only one came back right.
Gotcha.
And so then my homeboy Al was very upset.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And they ended up not coming back to coach no more.
Really?
So I ended up.
So then you took it over since then?
Yeah, I didn't take it over. They kind of like, you got to coach the team.
Wow. So you've been coaching since 2004?
Yeah, since 2004.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
2004.
Yeah, because they're telling you you're over there like 6 days a week.
I am.
That's crazy.
6.
7?
Oh,
7 days a week?
Funny, on Sunday. Yeah.
Wow. I know. That's crazy.
I mean, every day almost.
Yeah, because like it's a lot of dedication because like honestly, like I had a good father growing up, but his ass wasn't at no practice 7 days a week. You know, that's crazy.
Wow. I've been doing it, man. Cause like it's like my medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, I see you out there. You're in the zone.
Yeah, it's like my medicine. Yeah. And it's kind of like it's so many different parts. You don't sleep like you was there today. Yeah. And you see I deal with my team, then I got to deal with
the other team,
the fights from this team.
Yeah.
The fights from here.
It could be a TV show. When I was watching it, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. It was before you guys got there. It was like several incidents.
Wow.
Before you guys got there.
And are you like the one who like calms the storm all the time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
I'm pretty much the one who calms a lot of storms over there.
Yeah.
You know, because like people, and it's like baby mama drama, and then it's like.
Yeah, so you got all the parents and I want my son to do this or whatever. You got coaches yelling.
Yeah, and that's always something because it's competition.
Of course.
And we're in a different era now, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was a lot rougher back then.
No, I don't know.
You think it's rougher now?
Well, coaching is a lot rougher now because the expectation is higher now. Because
no, it's rougher to be a coach now.
Yeah.
I meant like the coaches were rougher on the kids back then, probably.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we used to hit kids. We used to hit kids. Now we can't hit them. I still hit them though. Like I still pop kids. I still hit them. I still hit them on their butt. I still, you know what I mean? Because the fact of the matter is, if you have young kids, older kids, you don't have to hit, and then it's about how you hit them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pop the helmet.
Yeah,
hit the butt.
Yeah.
So you know,
I played football one year, and we had a guy who would come with a wiffle ball bat, and he would hit you over the head with a wiffle ball bat.
Because
he wouldn't hurt you or nothing.
No, he wouldn't hurt you. You got to figure like if you're dealing with little kids, you need to snap them into reality like boom, because kids do like we used to do. They'll get lost into it. Yeah. And football is a contact sport. It's not like.
Of course. Yeah.
It's not like anything
Golf.
else. Yeah. But I'm also a martial arts teacher though.
You do martial arts?
Yeah.
What do you do?
You
do
Kempo.
boxing?
I do Kempo.
You do Kempo?
Yeah,
you do jiu-jitsu?
Kempo. Nah, I respect jiu-jitsu to the utmost. I ain't letting nobody grab me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I do Kempo, yeah.
Yeah, I just started doing jiu-jitsu. I've been doing it like almost a year.
And I've been doing Kempo. I've been doing martial arts since I was 7, 8.
Wow.
Yeah, our karate school.
How'd you get into that? I didn't know that. You did karate too?
I have a karate school.
You have one now?
Right now, 119.
Oh, that's wild.
That's what I said earlier. My first time going back to the school was this morning. I hadn't been in a while, so this morning I started by getting in there.
What is it about martial arts that you like?
Everything.
Like what?
That's my first love.
Before football?
Before, yeah. I never really was good at football at a young age.
Wow.
I did martial art and baseball.
Really?
Baseball, martial art, and then I played tennis and swimming.
Yeah, but what is it about martial arts that like...
The discipline in martial arts, the training of the body and the mind, you know,
for me,
really the calmness of it.
Yeah, because for me, it's like when you get like a hothead who does like jiu-jitsu or something, like they just get their ass whooped, you know, because it's like in jiu-jitsu, it happened to me. I went in there, I could bench press 225 a couple of times. I'm a big guy, I could go run 10 miles. And there was girls there, 120 pounds, choking me out. Yeah, but they've been doing jiu-jitsu like 8 years. And they do it on purpose. I didn't know that, but they're like, oh, you should go with this girl. And they do it to show you the art, you know?
The difference, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, I respect that part right there. If I
Mm-hmm.
respect nothing else, I respect you. Just the ability to be able to grab somebody and turn them into a presser.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that.
Yeah.
Because we strike.
Yeah, it's strikers.
So I'm more strike, kicks, you know.
Your kids do it too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what makes my youngest son so good with his hands and movement.
Wow.
And it's just the flow of it. But I've always respected jujitsu. I just never, I know I wrestled. I grew up wrestling.
Okay.
I wrestled in school.
Okay.
So I wrestled.
Yeah, that's half
so
of
my
jiu-jitsu.
tradition, boxing, I boxed and I did martial arts. And so wrestling, I learned how to wrestle. I had 1 or 2 years of wrestling when I was at Pomona High School.
Wow.
And so I totally respect it. It's just that my discipline, I try to master what I'm good at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At my age, man, I ain't nothing like I used to.
How old are you now?
I'm 56.
56?
I'm about to be 57.
You look great. You got good genes.
Yeah, well, it's the system. It's martial arts.
I see. It's the system. It's martial arts. So, I don't know if you know, but like I'm in recovery and I was on drugs most of my life. So, when I was smoking crack when I was 14 years old and horrible drug addict, like no one wanted anything to do with me, pawned everything, sold everything, breaking into houses, like stealing my parents' cars, been arrested multiple times, Baker acts, all these things. And like I got clean and I changed my life when I was like 17. And when I got clean, like at first there was like a lot of people like second guessing it. Like whenever someone changed their life, people are always like, oh, is he really changing his life? Like there's always like them skeptic. But like, you know, in addiction, like we have something called like roll lock, which is basically like if someone sees you, like your family does this a lot. Like when they see you one way, no matter how much you change, they like always see you that way, you know? And we got a mutual friend, Milk Tyson. And I, like the more I hang out with Milk, like I've known him probably like 5 years now. And like the more I talk to him and we hang out, I'm like, wow, like we're really similar because like he has like this other past and then he's like helping people now. And it's like as an addict, like that's kind of what you do to get clean. You got to help other addicts. So we both have like this two sides to us, you know? And even with him doing what he's doing for so long, helping the kids with cancer, like there's a lot of people who roll lock him into, oh, well, this is what he was like 10 years ago. And look at all this and all the people that he's friends with still or whatever. And they can't get him out of that box. But it seems with like addicts, people like to see people break out of that box because addiction is like so horrible. But it seems like with you, people like the old you.
They do. So
people like the old you, and I think that they don't want to see, like, they see like the Family Guy big you that goes to football. Like they think that's like, that's not as cool. You know what I mean?
No, I always say when I'm in the process of trying to decide if I want to do my life story. So it's two parts to that. I live in that moment, right? So when I start waking up and start becoming conscious of the decisions I'm making, I'm still stuck in a quagmire because I don't want to sell drugs. I don't want to do this, and I want to go into a different road. So I have to make decisions. So I have to change the decisions I make. As with an addict, you have to change the decisions you make. When you start making a change, that decision, now mentally, we're struggling with this decision not to do this, not to do that. But we still living in the same place. Yeah. So now people are like, oh, eventually he gonna go back. Eventually he gonna go back. Eventually he gonna go back. So then there's big you. I'm still big. I'm still black. I'm still big you. So people get to thinking that he can still always go back to that. Yeah. But here it is, and I always say, like, I'm in the business world. People judge me by what I did when I was 12. Yeah. But they don't want to be judged by what they did when they were 12. Yeah. You know what I mean? Obama gets to forget the fact that he smoked weed and did this. Of course. Well, I don't get to forget the fact that I sold weed. And you know what I mean, and whatever I did. Because it's when it says in the eye of the beholder, people gonna place you where they want to place you. And it's, I don't know the terminology you use, but I deal with it every single day. Yeah, where people still see you as the 20-year-old you. But they want to empower themselves with that also. Yeah. It's an empowerment in the person not able to give you or not wanting to give you that even step. Because now that empowers them to stay one on top of you. Yeah. So if you're going to do a deal now, it's like, I remember it used to get high.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Big U, man, I remember you was riding. I said, okay, but I've been home longer than I was gone.
Exactly.
And I've been this guy longer than I was that guy.
When you look in the mirror, when you wake up in the morning, do you see yourself, like, do you see like Eugene Henley and Big U as two different people, or do you see it as the same?
No, because I didn't want that. Mm-hmm. When I started studying Islam really hard back on full.
Are you Muslim?
I'm Muslim, yeah, I'm Muslim. And when I started getting back on my deen, it was a choice, be called this, be called that. So then I felt I wanted to make a choice to help my people, help my community, help my little homeboys. If I go say, call me this, call me that, refer to me, then that means that I moved all the way away from my past and I'm not identified by my past. Mm-hmm. So the normal person would say, well, if you don't want to be dealt with Big U, then call yourself something else. That would have been easy. I could do that. So
gotcha.
Refer to me as Hannibal Muhammad. That's my Muslim name. Mm-hmm. Then now, there's Big U's nowhere linked to that. There's nowhere linked to that. He's Hannibal Muhammad. Go to the door, he's Hannibal Muhammad. Mm. But that's not like the picture I wanted to paint. The picture I wanted to paint is to black men, young black men who come from the past I come from. Yeah. That you ain't got to become Hannibal Muhammad. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to become this. You can start making the right decisions in your life and be a picture of where when I was a kid, I did kid things. Yeah. Now I am a man. Changing my name ain't gonna change who I am. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Call me this. It would though. Because then it would send a message. Yeah,
it would be the easier thing to do. Yeah. But at the same time, like what type of message is that to kids, you know?
Right. Yeah. I made bad decisions when I was younger.
Of course.
I ran with bad people when I was, and I ran with bad people because I led most of the stuff that I was into. And I made bad decisions. You know what I mean? So it's like, I tell people.
What is it in like, you know, someone's nature that like grows up in poverty and all these things where there are people in your community that are doing the right thing, but there's so many people that aren't. Like what is it about like that fast life that you wanted to like be a part of? Like, was it like you wanted to like be a part of like the other guys on the corner? Was it like you didn't feel like?
I don't even know. Okay, now I know what you're asking me, but the difference with my neighborhood was it wasn't really like, we never seen pimps. We never seen I never seen nobody with a lot of money until I came home in 1984 and 85. And when I came back, I was pretty much, we were all the same age. Like we the first generation of the big drug dealers. Like I'm way older than you. And I would have been the picture of the big drug dealers that you grew up listening to. When I was younger, it was Tootie Reese, it was Suge on the west side of LA. It was Tootie Reese, Suge, it was Bad Habit, it was a couple more older dudes, but we didn't see them. We just heard the names. And so the only thing I really seen coming up was my big homeboys who may have been 3-4 years older than us, and then some 7 or 10 years older than us, and they were gangbangers. Yeah. So it wasn't really like nobody really getting no money. And the money didn't come until 1983, 84. And by then, I was the one that was chasing the money. So I see a lot of people when I see these shows, it wasn't no big dude, no dude on our block pulling up in a Mercedes Benz, nice cars. That was us.
So what was the, like, so
it wasn't an attraction.
Gotcha.
It was like,
it's like you started the wave.
We started the wave. We was in the beginning of the waves.
But what what affects you as a young kid to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go get the nice car. I'm gonna go do these things.
Because like,
is it music?
Music is very, very much so
influential.
And like I said, I am the beginning of it. We not the, because I have to go ahead and explain to you like this. Like at my age, Tootie Reese was the richest dude, black dude in LA. We looked up to. Yeah. There was another dude named Suge. Okay. And there was another couple that was black gamblers and all that. But we didn't see them.
You just heard of them.
We just heard of them.
Gotcha.
It wasn't until the 80s that we actually were seeing guys who were rich. Like that was the Harry O, Big Dave, the Freeway Ricks and all them. But they not that much older than me.
Gotcha. So
and then,
it seemed like attainable?
It was very obtainable to me. And then our way was different. Our way was like, we gonna rob and get the money they gonna get.
Gotcha.
So we was like, no,
like we're gonna let you do all the hard work and we're just gonna rob them.
And so that was like, so because like I think that's a question for a younger era, because my era, we were the ones creating those numbers, and we were the ones living in those numbers. We lived in that time. So I never really looked up to nobody but gangbangers. Gotcha. And that was earlier.
So the people that are gangbanging that might not be getting money, they like the attraction, I think there is that you get the respect, right?
Right, and that's in LA.
Was that more about it?
It was more about, in LA, it was definitely more
about respect.
Because it was some dudes who wanted to get a bag. I just was never the bag dude. I was more like, nah, man, I need a Dickies, 501s, woo, a blower, a car, and because we was on the bull crap coming up. So we weren't really like to answer that question, I think I answered best I can because I didn't look up to like a lot of drug dealers. But I understand the people who looked up, and so in LA, it became you was a gangbanger and you had money. So that was a different look for an LA youngster. And then when it started going out of town to other states and other cities, it really became something bigger.
When did you start to transition out of like, you know what, I'm more than this gangbanging stuff and like I'm gonna be something in the community?
Well, my transition was behind two men. One named Donald Ray Evans, who's my mother's, he just died. He's my mother's second husband.
He's like a mentor?
Second husband, he was a mentor to me. He always pushed he always pushed blackness. He always, you know, from an early age. And then the fact that my uncles were all Muslims coming out of prison, I already had I already had it in me, and I already had been taught. But then I just strayed like everybody else. And then my stepfather, Howard Ford, I have no tattoos. No tattoos. I don't smoke and I don't drink. And so I had the teachings.
But is that because your religion?
Well, it's because of the people who taught me and what I did get from them. And I decided to accept some things. And I didn't get tattoos.
You'd be like, look, I'm going to accept these things, but there's some other things I might not.
I might not. And so I didn't do the things. So the answer to the question is, I felt like I knew what I was doing, but I knew I wouldn't be stuck in that forever. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to have tattoos on my face,
of course,
tattoos on my body. I didn't want to mark my body with something I knew I would outgrow. You know what I mean? I felt I would outgrow.
So you always knew you would kind of evolve.
Yeah, I knew it. I guess I felt like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm doing this, but this is not like.
Can you explain like what Muhammad is and like what is it about like the Muslim religion that you like really like are interested in?
The discipline.
The discipline.
Straight out, the discipline, the honesty and the truth about the teachings, and it's the way of life. You know, not opposed to no other systems. But before I failed, I started studying. I studied for years.
You're a big reader?
Yeah, I read a lot. And in there, that's all you was able to do.
Of course.
So I read books on all kinds of stuff. We used to get stolen credit cards, and we would order books that cost $1,500, $1,600.
What?
Yeah, and we'd have to send the books.
Like what?
We Stolen Legacy, the Dead Sea Scrolls, we get those.
Really?
We had to pay to get them translated. We had to send them. We would get the stolen credit cards, and we would order the books, and you had to send the books to Europe. And I can't remember the place. They would translate it. It would translate into Latin. Then
what are the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Those are like supposed to be the old books of Barnabas, the books of Barnabas. You know, I had all of the books.
Wow.
I studied bullets, bugs. I read I read books from everything. Like I would go with one book, whoever quote that book. I'm a big Ivan Sertimer, Joseph Benjamin Conan, Naim Akbar. All of those guys are like, and I studied Antiquity.
It's like theology?
Theology, history. You know, I read
what are like some of the most like influential things that you learned from those books?
discipline.
Wow.
It was the discipline to really become patient. Like what I think we see in most people, drug addicts, gangbangers, is impatience.
Yeah.
It's the need to have it now. I deserve it. I want it. I gotta go get it.
There's this guy who I listen to who always says, when's the last time something good happened to you that happened fast?
Right.
You know, everything good in my life that's ever happened to me always happened real slow over a period of time.
Exactly.
You know,
that's honestly how true. So it's just that I used to teach these classes in prison, right? So after I was in prison for maybe 4 or 5 years, I used to debate on religion. I studied everything about religion.
Wow.
So
every religion?
Every religion. I studied every religion. I didn't study just one. I studied Christianity, Islam.
You're interested in Buddhism?
I studied Buddhism, all that. I studied anything I can get. And we used to have these classes where everybody would come to the table and we had to pick a subject. And we would come, me and all the dudes on the yard, and we had these classes, and we would pick one subject. And for a whole month, we just studied that subject. We studied Buddhism.
Wow.
And everybody would come.
Y'all had a book club.
We had like a book club, like real talk, if you want to call it that.
Wow.
And it would be, we would come in and we would come get every part of every religion. We would cross-reference where this may have come from and what part this came from. Like we would take up Ezra's, like we would have to break down a chapter of Ezra's. And Ezra's is the most intriguing chapter of the book because this is the chapter where the Bible, quote unquote, was destroyed. So at this point, there's no Bible. Wow. Right. And then so Ezra's supposed to have received the teachings of the Bible from these angels. And I've been so far removed from it. But he's supposed to got, if I'm not right, for 50 angels. And no, he got the revelation from the angel Gabriel, if I'm not mistaken. And then he went and got 50 scribes to rewrite it. It's all in the book, the book of Ezra. So we used to use that to destroy people. Yeah. And then after so long of being in that mindset, I had to reverse that and get to the state to where I didn't want to take stuff from people and destroy people's religion or their belief. Of course. And then change and say, because you can't take something from somebody and not give them nothing back. So I went through so many different stages.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, to me, is like true spirituality is when you see like how your religion complements other religion, not contradicts them. You know,
right? And then, you know, if you, it's such a long story with the way we receive religion here in this nation, as to opposed to how religion is imparted around the world. Because the religion, how we get it here, even Catholicism is slave driven. It's meant to deal with a country that's heavy in slavery. You know,
of course,
I mean? And so it's meant for white people to feel comfortable that they were putting people in slavery,
they had slaves.
And for the people in slavery to accept that. And when you deal with like how it's taught on the West Coast, even in Mexico and in Latin nations, they don't look at African Americans as human beings. They don't look at that because the religion does not fairly incorporate a people of dark color.
Yeah, it's like not and in
so
there.
It's not in there. And when it is, it's taught in a way to where we were low to
subhuman.
Subhuman. Yeah. So naturally that mentality is imparted
in their
in
culture.
The way people, in their culture, in the way they deal with people on a day-to-day basis. So, I mean, I studied that, learned that, but it's almost like when people meet me, they don't know the depth of my knowledge.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They have no clue. They only, like you said earlier, you know, he's Big U. He's a robber. So,
yeah, of course.
And sometimes I like it because
you get to surprise people.
I get to surprise people, or just like, if you're not gonna take a chance to meet me, to shake my hand, to give me a chance in life, or then it wasn't meant to be, and you lost out.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like sometimes people can see me and they'll make a judgment, whatever. But like, man, I love to read. Like I've probably read like 200 books, probably not as many as you, but But you know, I've read a lot. Like I'm into poetry. You know, like I have depths. Like I'm obsessed with film. Like I love movies. I watch a lot of foreign movies. You know,
Right, me too.
But you watch foreign films?
I watch
like what?
Everything. Let me say foreign. Let me just go say. I just rewatched Men on Fire, the old original one. It's foreign. It could be the same foreign. Yeah, but I watch a lot of movies, man. I watch them now from a different point of view now. Because I'm a filmmaker now.
Yeah. Now you critique them too much, probably.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy them less?
No,
you enjoy them more.
I think I enjoy them more, but I critique
them more. You see little things, right?
Yeah, I can see the camera. I can see if I go pole. Then sometimes I can get into a series, and now I'm watching a series.
My favorite movie is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I grew up on that.
Anything Robert Redford, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Or Young Frankenstein. I like those old movies.
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That's a cold story. It's a story behind Frankenstein.
Let's hear it.
It's the actual story of Frankenstein was actually a story about a slave.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been told a lot of different ways. But it's the way to create a man.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's the way to create a man, and it really predates the story of Frankenstein, and it really is in the temples of Egypt. The story of Frankenstein, the building.
It's Egyptian.
Egyptian. Actually, Egyptian is the last note. The actual original temples are in Ethiopia.
Gotcha.
And so what people don't know is the materials that built the pyramid are not found in Egypt.
Yeah.
The materials that build the pyramid is found in Ethiopia. And how they talk about the flood and the flow of the river of the Nile, it doesn't actually flow down.
Yes, they don't know how they got it there,
flows
right?
up. No, they know how it got there. They just don't want to say how it got there.
Slaves?
No, not slaves. Well, however they got it. I wasn't there, but the mortar and the bricks that built these pyramids came from Ethiopia. But the water actually flows upward from Ethiopia up to Egypt.
Gotcha.
It doesn't flow down like people think or they say it. And then in our history books, you'll see that we're taught that Africa is this small to the United States of America. But Africa is actually the biggest continent.
Of course, yeah.
Well, no, it's not, of course, because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
They don't really realize that Africa is the biggest continent on this planet. And it holds the most people. And it actually holds the most intelligence
and resources
that's been dominated by greedy people around the world. So there's a difference between that.
Of course.
So, it's getting the information is finally starting to get out. And I think
you've been to Africa before?
I've never been there.
Wow.
Only in books.
Only in books. I want to go one day. I've never been there either.
Man, I want to go too. I want to go bad. But
we should go. We'll do a vlog.
Yeah, we need to.
Let me ask you. So I was told that you're the only person that's given Nipsey Hussle an award while he was still alive.
Yep.
You know,
I'm the first one to give him his first contract.
Wow.
I'm the first one to give him some money. I'm the first one to sign him. The first one that did all that to him. I'm the first one to do all that.
If you can explain like what type of person, because I feel like he was a lot like you, this really deep dude.
No, he was. Nip was sharp, man. He was good looking. He was sharp. He was determined. He was dedicated. He was everything you want your son to grow up and be.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He went through the struggle. He went through the growth. He did the gang banging. He fell off, got back on. Excuse me. He would be, then like I said, he would be everything you want your son to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He touched every Pentium along the way. And then he was gone. And he left a legacy.
What I was always wondering, like, why do you think he chose to have his store in the Slauson when he could have like already had it in Melrose and all these other places?
I can tell you that easily. One, it was his foundation. When he first got the store back, right there on Slauson, they had already been in there. And then I got my store and I opened up Development Option in the shopping center.
Development Option is the nonprofit?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were actually in the shopping center on Slauson. And his brother had got locked up, Sam. So he did like 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. And so when he came back, he got back on his grind, hustling, doing what he was doing. And he asked the owners, can he get back in the store? They didn't want to put him back in the store. So I went to the owners and was like, let him get back in the store and I vouch for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then he let him get back in the one store down from my development office here. They eventually went to the one down from us.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved from development office and moved on to 4030 Crenshaw because I put a studio there, so we got a bigger place. And that's how they ended up getting back in there, back into the shopping center. And then they grinded up to actually buying the shopping center.
Oh, they bought it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they actually bought it. So that was a great hustle. You know what I mean? You go from just renting to buying.
Being it, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. A lot of people say like, oh well, look at Nipsey. He did all this for the community, and his own community killed him. So how do you feel like people don't want to give to the community, or think like it's like a waste, or you shouldn't?
No, see, I really don't buy into that because his community didn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a deranged person killed him. So you would have to say that mental illness killed him.
True.
Because it can happen to all of us, and we've seen it happen to multiple people. We've seen what's the boy from the Beatles get killed by somebody that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We see people go postal all the time.
For sure.
That's why it's called postal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when somebody who gets fired from the post office come back and shoot up the post office, they don't forever say, well, postal workers kill postal workers. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you could put a negative connotation on anything, that's what they do. The guy was crazy. He wasn't supposed to be around. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't supposed
just got big.
Yeah, that's like I kicked you out of my house, and you come back to my house. Did that make you a part of me still? Mm-hmm. No, it don't. That meant I didn't want you around. Yeah, it's very clear you're not supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. So it's not the community because the guy wasn't a part of the community.
Gotcha. What do you think it is about like mental illness that's not really talked about like in your guys' community?
It's the unknowing, and it's the pain of dealing with it. It's we haven't found an actual way to actually deal with the brain and understand how to deal with it. And so when you poor, and it's a poor community, we have less resources than anybody else. Yeah. So if it's something you can't do or deal with, you don't want to talk about it. You want to talk about things that you can deal with or you have dealt with, and you know how you're able to move past that. But nobody wants to talk about something that they can't really deal with. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you don't know.
Yeah. It's like why would I want to go do something that I know I can't even go do? Or I don't know nobody that's doing it.
There's nobody who's successfully dealt with
like
it.
There's nobody in my community that goes to therapy. There's no therapy offices. There's no one at school, asking me if I need to go to therapy. You
gotta understand, man, what people really don't give us credit for, and I talk about our community when I say the African American community, is the level of growth we've amassed in under 100 years.
Oh, for sure.
That's only 3 generations. I'm one generation away from people who just was able to read.
Yeah, slavery, exactly.
My mother was the only one out of 13 brothers and sisters who went to college. And out of the ones who went to college, only 10 of them went past the 3rd grade. So imagine that. Yeah. I'm only one generation from that.
And imagine all these other people that have generations of college,
people who
or wealth or something. Yeah.
And so now you have people who are judging us, and we pass over that so freely to not understand now that we are in competition with the Hispanics who come over here freely, and who were here, and I guess they claim this to be their land, and then the Europeans who come over here freely and who took the land, and everybody else. You know what I mean? But we have a mental dogma that's against us because of our race, that people would. You have to understand that everything that we deal with in our life is in the fact that we're dealing with it from behind the 8 ball. And you cannot say, you can't just forget about that. Because it goes with what you was talking about, mental health, education, religion, sex, and all the different things pile into that, again, my mother walked miles to go to school, miles. And then they had to go to segregated schools.
Yeah.
They were underfunded.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
undereducated.
I think like in Little Rock, Arkansas, they were still segregated up until like the 90s.
And look,
Yeah.
you know, and we're now asked to compete.
Yeah.
On every level. Mm-hmm. So I think, man, for us to be where we are in this society in this day is great. And then now we see that we are talking about mental health and mental issues that really outclass us in education because we haven't had the education to know, you need to go get some therapy. So it's not that we don't want therapy. It's just that we get therapy differently. Our therapy is in the barbershop. Yeah. Our therapy is in the hair salon. Our therapy is on the phone talking with some people call gossip. That's really the way we get in therapy and not realizing that we are actually getting self-therapy while other people actually go get therapy.
Absolutely. Well, like one thing about like the Black community is that like you guys also do have so much love. So it's like, you know, like I go to a church, right? And like when you go to like a Black church, like it's just different. Like it feels different. Like there's just so much energy and people smiling and stuff like that. It's like sometimes like you know, I'm Hispanic, so like we're loud and stuff. But sometimes when you go to a white church, they're like so reserved. You know what I mean? Like they're scared to kind of express themselves.
I've never been to a Hispanic church.
Oh really?
I don't think I have. Not a church.
It's loud.
I've been to
they be singing.
I've been to Catholic churches.
Catholic, yeah.
I never been to a Hispanic church though.
Yeah, because I'm from like South Florida, so we got a lot of Spanish churches out there.
But not Catholics, like
not
Catholics.
Christian
church. Yeah. I've never been to a Catholic Hispanic Christian church.
Oh, you know what? I have, yeah.
Because it's different. I've been, like I said, I've been to, but I've never seen like, okay, so then like, is it Protestant too? Like,
they have it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, all different denominations, they have Hispanic churches.
Yeah, because it's like I would be crazy because I would want to see
what it's
do
like.
They do the same thing?
Yeah, they do the same thing.
The praying.
Yeah, because like my mom's very like she was Catholic, now she's Christian, but my mom's from Mexico, and like you know, like my mom is from Mexico. Her whole family lives in California. But she'll tell you, like, we didn't cross the border, like the border crossed us. Like, California used to be Mexico.
Right.
So it's like, that's why we live here, because it used to be part of Mexico. The U.S. bought it, you know?
Or hoodwinked it.
Yeah, hoodwinked it. Yeah, for sure.
Because, like, so, and like I said, remember my religious background and how I used to just deal with people. Because I used to be, I used to always teach, like, one of my subjects was Martin Luther. Are you familiar with Martin Luther?
Like Martin Luther King?
No. Martin Luther. So, how do we get this?
Let's see.
You know, the Protestant. The Protestant comes from Martin Luther. The split from the Catholic Church to creating what we now see as
the
Christian church
comes from Martin
Luther. The split in the war between the Catholic Church and the Christian church.
I thought that was with the Old Testament and the New Testament.
No. That's a whole nother one.
That's a whole nother one?
That's a whole nother one. Martin Luther. You have to look up who Martin Luther was.
Okay.
Martin Luther was hunted. There were close to maybe a couple of million people killed between that.
Wow.
Which eventually created the split between the church and the Catholic Church, and we eventually became the Protestant, the churches. Yeah, you got to look that up because that goes into America. It was after the separation of church and state, and when it flowed all the way into the United States of America. Martin Luther was a cold brother. Yeah. He posed this. Some of his, they say, was because he wanted priests to be able to marry, have kids.
Like my dad hated church growing up, and he'd always say, "How can that man teach me about being married? He ain't married. You come deal with this shit for 20 years."
Right.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of times people, you know, act like the priest was unrelatable, or you know, they couldn't really tell you how to really be a man.
Well, I'm kind of of the philosophy of your father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't tell me what I'm dealing with if you ain't never been.
Oh, for sure.
You ain't never had to deal with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like if you're married, you shouldn't be getting advice from single people. Single people are going to teach you how to be single.
Exactly.
Married people are going to teach you how to be married.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me about like the nonprofit and like doing, helping all like the kids in your community, and like why you chose to like, because it's not like something you do as like a hobby. It's not something you do on the weekend. Like you dedicated your whole life to this.
Because I didn't have it. Like easy. It was easy fixing me. My first idea to want to do nonprofits when I was incarcerated. My homeboys, Keita Rock and a couple of homeboys had started with Jim Brown. My first educator in this area was my stepfather, like I said, Donald Ray Evans. But then I got with Jim Brown, and Jim was the first one to actually like, we need to do something about the gangs in LA. And Jim Brown, I started over with American, and we went up to see Jim Brown. We talked about gang life, trying to change the culture, and I fell in love with it then. And so I was always a part of I was the beginning part of American. I think T. Rogers, Bo, and a couple of them had already came up with the name. They was gonna come up with American, but I was there before we even incorporated it, and I was the first of Jim's soldiers. You know what I mean? And I left in '91.
And was your job to try to get kids like off the streets, or to get kids like?
I didn't really have a job in American just yet. I was still like.
But like, what was like your motivation? Like, what was your personal goal with it?
When I came home, like I said, when I first started, that's how I first got into it. But then I go to jail. And so now when I'm coming home, like I said, I started teaching in prison. And I started gaining all this knowledge in prison. So I had changed in prison already.
Gotcha.
So the person I was coming out of prison was so far from the person that they knew who had left.
Yeah.
So it was only natural for me to come home and to want to keep doing what I had been doing in prison.
In prison, you have already became somebody who was, teaching and stuff
already like that. Teaching. I was already teaching.
Wow.
So I just came home and furthered that. And then I was trying to figure out, like, at first you try to reach the older kids and you can't get them. So then I'm like, well, let me start and focus on the babies. If I focus on the babies,
it'll take
and
care of
getting them what they want to.
And what are you teaching the kids?
To be disciplined. And you know what? I think my life is a lesson to the kids. I like to say that. And then I want to be that example to the OGs of what can be done. Because if you're an OG and you're a big homie, they need to have to look at my life and say, well, Big, you doing it. Big, you doing this for his community over here. Big, you doing this. Big, you doing that. So it's not just the kids, but it's the OGs, the street leaders, the big homies. Now you got to compare to what Big U is doing positive.
Yeah.
Like, you the big homie. You the same age as him. Why you ain't doing what he doing? So now you impart.
You're kind of like the Eric Thomas of the hood.
The who?
You know who Eric Thomas is?
No.
E.T., the motivational speaker?
No.
You don't listen to Eric Thomas?
Mm-mm.
Wow. He's a motivational speaker, but...
I'm already motivated.
There you go. There you go. But basically what I'm saying is like a lot of people listen to you because there's something that comes with your credentials that can't be bought.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like your life story is already something where people have to listen to it, I hate to bring this up, but I saw that Quincy Reese was murdered from your guys' high school. It wasn't your high school?
I had him since he was 5 years old.
Wow, you know him that long?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were that close to him.
He started playing football from us since he was 5.
Well, you've known him since he was 5.
I've known him since he was 5 years old when he came in and started playing football for us. I got video on YouTube where he caught his first ever touchdown.
Oh, that's crazy.
When he scored his first ever touchdown, he played on my traveling basketball
close with his
team.
parents too?
Yeah. I knew them when they was kids.
Wow.
I knew his father
when they were kids.
When he was Quincy's age. When the same age when Quincy died. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know his mother is good, but I knew his father. Like I knew his father when his father was in high school.
Wow. So it's really like family to you.
It's like crazy. And then so it's like now, like I do intervention and we just went to Horseman in middle school, and we up there talking to the principal about trying to help the school. So we'd go in, we take a group in there and do this. And we at the school, when I walk into school, I see some what I would call my little homegirls, but now they got babies that go to the school, and they babies getting in trouble, and they thinking the principal's calling us on them, but we don't even know what happened yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we know the generations. Like I know not, like I'm at the age where I know the mothers, the grandmothers and all that. And so we're best suited to help them get to the next level. So when they see us, they look at us like with a great deal of respect. But I knew Quincy, man, like I said, from couldn't tie a shoe. You know what I mean? Him and my daughter are the same age. They're like best friends.
Wow.
She called Quincy her brother.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like Quincy was 17, she was 17. Yeah. And she cheered for Quincy's team. So when you start together. So it's Quincy, Pop, all of them the same age. Milk knew Quincy. Milk just didn't realize he knew Quincy.
Wow.
Yeah, he was on that Pop team. And Milk was helping. I think Milk, bought us jerseys one year.
Oh, that's crazy.
He bought us helmets. He bought, every year in a row, Milk may have donated over $10,000 a year for about 5-6 years till he really got into doing the philanthropy with the cancer kids.
Yeah.
But he was already in that lane, and he just don't remember Quincy. I bet you I can go back and Lee show him pictures where if he took a group picture.
Or he'll remember him.
And Quincy in that picture.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was on the team with Pop,
wow.
who Milks knows really well.
What is it like, or what was meeting Milk like in the beginning? What did you think of him in the begining? What do you think of him like now?
I was like, what the hell is this white boy doing? Because I already had heard of Milk.
Was it good things or bad things?
No. Because I don't know if Milk was running with my son when I first heard him. I just heard about this little white boy. He run around here and he's saying, hey, I'm like, man, what is a white boy saying? Then I got a call from some dudes from a whole nother set was talking about he was in the streets, in the club by himself, finna get down with 20 dudes. They was like, man, he down, man. He all right. And I was like, for real? And they was like, yeah, man, I don't know if he a real one, man, but he stayed down. He represented y'all hood, homie. And these was dudes who would be quote unquote enemies to us.
Yeah.
And so then
So people that are your enemies are like, yo, you got a real soldier out here.
Real with oh, wow. And I'm like, for real? So it set my mind.
And you probably thought he was 6'5".
No, I knew he was short because I think I had seen him.
Oh, really?
I think I may have seen him before. And I don't think I never spoke to him because he was white and he was trying to do like, and so I think the first time maybe I had seen him, but it wasn't until a whole nother person from another set called me and told me what was going on and what he had did and how he had stayed down. That's the stamp. So when I got that stamp, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all
he's
right.
cool.
He's cool.
He's okay in my book.
Yeah, okay.
Well, how did y'all have a friendship?
It was after that.
Yeah.
I think maybe something else had happened. I don't know if he called me or something. Somehow I ran into him with my son. But I was already had my mind set how I was going to let this relationship develop.
Did you like mentor him?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways?
That was later though.
Gotcha.
That was maybe years later when it was time for him to move on.
Yeah.
And we was having a conversation. He was in that wayward era, like, I need to do something different. And I'm like, yeah, you should. And to me, he was like my Steve Lobel.
Okay.
Because I couldn't do stuff in music that Steve could do. So when I first had Nipsey, I went to Steve because I needed a Jew, a white Jew, to help me get into these buildings. So when I was talking to Milk, I was like, man, you're going to be able to do stuff that people can't do.
Yeah.
I can't go meet people like you and other people because they're gonna already stereotype me. No matter what they're gonna think, Big U's gonna rob me eventually, or Big U's gonna bully me. It's like it's what you said.
Do you think you put that in your own head?
No.
You think it's real?
I think that I feel like.
Do you think that there's a part of you that you're still attached to?
No, I don't.
That perception?
Not at all, because I know me. I know like I could come or go. Yeah. Every single day is I'm with these kids.
Yeah, I know.
It's almost like no time that I'm not doing football season. Like I'm there.
Do you feel like it's two totally different lives you live?
Because I really don't swing like that.
Yeah,
I don't have a swing. I mean, I got to go hustle. I got to go do certain things. I got to. But
it's
I don't
more
have
like a evolution.
I feel like I'm staying true to the table. And the table, I mean, is the guys I left in prison.
Of course.
And I'm staying true to what we all talked about and what we planned, and I'm that pawn to help us as Black people get better. You know what I mean? And I feel like if I was to leave today, that I would have honored my promise. You know, I used to pray all the time, man, that if Allah let me get home to my son, man, because my son was the only one. And let me get home to get my son and help my son to change where these dynamics. I used to always pray for that. You know what I mean? And so I don't feel like it's me. I feel that there are some people who give this guy a chance, and then there's some people who just like, whoop.
Yeah.
Because it's not that I feel it, because I still hear it.
Yeah.
Like I'll hear one person go, man, they said they can't trust you. Then I'm like, well then, all right, good, that's good.
Yeah.
And I keep on doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And then you got so the internet is so negative.
Of course. And a lot of those articles are from like 10 years ago.
But it's still not true though.
Of course.
So it's like, and you don't want to stereotype people either. Like the ignorant people listen to the internet, but the smart people go with CBS.
Yeah.
So what's said on CBS, they have to authenticate it. What's said on the internet, they don't have to extend nothing.
Yeah.
You can just say what they want to, and it's there.
You ever get parents that are like real scared that you're like
all the time,
and then they like come around?
No, well, this is what happens to me now. Like when Nipsey died, right? When Nipsey got killed, we probably had about 300, 375, 400 kids that was in our program. And I had the travel basketball team. We had a contract with Adidas that was worth about $3 million that Kanye West gave us.
Wow.
And then I had like a bunch of other different contracts. And for a nonprofit, we were really thriving. Then Nipsey gets killed. Well, after Nipsey get killed, then the rumor goes out, Big U had something to do. Ooh. We lost everything.
You lost all those?
When I tell you everything.
Wow.
Kanye stopped answering the phone. Adidas stopped answering the phone. And I ended up almost going dead broke because we already committed to these teams.
So you just had to start coming out of pocket for this?
Come out of pocket. I had to rob Peter to pay Paul.
That's so crazy to me because, like, to me, it's like so obvious that that has nothing to do with you guys.
It didn't, but here go the thing though. It had went so big that people was like, even if I didn't have nothing to do with it, was so much said on the internet, people was looking like, well, just in case. We got to back up and we got to make sure. So I'm losing everything, bro. I lost contracts. I lost cars. You got to understand, like, to be like a mom and pop and to be on your own and you building all this at one time, man, I had girls like, well, I don't want to be around you. I had dudes like me, people like me. And I mean, when I'm talking about now you go in the store, people you was doing business with, like they don't want to do business with you because they don't know if it's true. So now this is where your past kicks in and hurts you. Because of your past, well, he's capable of doing it.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? So that went on for all the way up until this guy is found guilty. Now everybody's looking like, well, you know, but that doesn't talk about the millions and the contracts that I had on the table. TV deals.
Wow.
I had TV deals, I had movies, I had people that just like, No, we're gonna move away from that. We're in a different direction. It's imagine if you're on your way up and you're hot, because my documentary deal came before
all that,
even before Nipsey died. Me and Nipsey was talking about doing a documentary, and so when all this happened, the only deal that stayed was the documentary, and that they seen an opportunity to build off of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So to them, the documentary, this is actually more drama, is more attention, more eyeballs.
Right. But everybody else was like,
nah.
I lost a lot. Man, I'm still recovering to this day.
Wow.
Man, I had to lean on, like, be honest with you, me and Milk would talk. And he'd be like, brother, you got to get ahead of it. You got to do an interview. I'm like, man, I ain't doing an interview.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about it.
And Milk was like, man, you got to. And we would get that because I think at that time, Milk was really connected to, it was before TMZ became like this humongous TMZ. TV channel was this. It was a couple of people that left TMZ was creating stuff. So Milk was really heavy into the media space. And he was trying to help me. He like, man, it's another article. You got to say something. I'm like, man, I ain't saying nothing. If they want to believe I'm an animal, they did something I could never would do or could possibly do. And that, how could they think I did this and I just gave this man an award? Yeah. Like, where would that come from?
Yeah, and it's kind of like sometimes it's so outlandish that even to address it makes it even feel like it's even worth your time.
And that's where I felt.
Yeah.
But even in the day, I questioned it because I'm like, maybe I should have tried to fight it earlier.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was no way to fight it because people was just building off of it.
Yeah. What was it like seeing Milk? Because like a lot of people think, even myself, because like when I first met Milk, he lived in Miami, like he didn't really know a lot of people, and he would like tell me all these stories about like his past life, and like a part of me would be like, are you like, is this okay? Like, can you go do this? You know what I mean? Like, do your friends not like it? Like, are people proud of you?
He was unique, man. Yeah, he was unique
because it seems so crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. It's like it really is crazy. It really is. Like this guy came out of nowhere. Then he flips into a whole nother person. Like, well, like you said, how could you do this? And then he had all these damn tattoos on his face and all that. But I'm thinking, I'd be more scared of him than Big U.
Yeah, of course.
but nah, man, it's what we do. You'll fall in love with it. Like you was today on that bus today.
Yeah.
Of course. How can you not? Like, I got a bus full of future mayors, governors, Jesuses, Obamas, and you have a chance to really, help them mature into that. Yeah. What people don't realize, they see my son went into college, right? But what they missing is I had nine black boys graduate from college. Wow. In 3 years that was in my program. That was my son. That went through your program. With my son. That was with my son. Just the ones who were with my son from his team.
So you had 10? Nine altogether?
So you see how that bus?
Hang on, because this is crazy. You had nine kids in your program that made it to the NFL?
No, that graduated from college. They graduated from college. Like when my son graduated, they all graduated together. That was his age was 5. Then right behind him was 4.
Wow.
They graduated from college. That I sent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like these are mine. I kept them together. Like I got all them kids on that bus. I'll have them all the way until they go into high school. So they're 10 now. They won't go into high school until they're 14. So they'll be with me for 4 more years. So I have 4 more years to influence them.
Wow.
And influence them and use the tools that I know and then help them go into a high school and then help them when it's time to get recruited and then help them with SATs and anything they need along the way.
When you were in prison, would you think that this was like possible? Were you thinking the whole time in prison, like I'm going to do this? Or if someone told you that in prison, you would think it's far-fetched?
Nah, to be honest with you, I came home to do it.
You were like, I'm doing it.
I prayed for it. I prayed on it. I set everything up and then I came on to do music, do entertainment. You know what I mean? And I felt like when you ask me to sleep, I get up in the morning. I'm on finishing whatever business I was on. So I'm mostly on Zooms. I'm doing the movie stuff. But then it's football. Or if it's not football season, I have a track team too. We do track. So we do track, we do baseball, we do all this sports. We keep the kids. And then at night, it's usually music. It's usually music entertainment. Wow. So like I'm here filming.
But this is like an entertainment hour.
It's the entertainment hours.
And when did you get into playing video games?
Oh shit, man.
Your kids got you into it?
Nah, I was playing video games before they was born.
What? You're a gamer?
Yeah.
You's a big gamer?
Yeah, man,
you play video games even when you were younger?
Yes. Yeah, man, we was the first generation. I'd be online and the kids be like, "You sound old." And I'm like,
they talk shit to you? What do they say to you?
You sound old. You sound like an old ass fart. I said, I am an old ass fart, and I'm about to fart.
Well, what games do you play?
I play Madden, Call of Duty. Now all my crew is trying to get on Jason.
Okay.
And but I play all the shooters. First person.
All the first person shooter games?
Yeah, first person. So
are you nice?
I'm nice.
You're nice?
In Call of Duty, I'm nice.
What's the other game that all the kids play? The first person shooting game.
Fortnite?
Fortnite?
I never got into Fortnite because it was too much for the kids.
Too much for kids?
Yeah, and then I'm like...
You want to see like a realistic...
Yeah. Once Call of Duty went to where it is now, it was over for me. Because I was a Rainbow Six, all of them. I did all that.
Really?
I really didn't do too much Grand Theft Auto because I felt that was just too racist. So I just didn't feel like... Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was too much. If Grand Theft Auto did not do more than anything else to fuck the culture up,
yeah,
I don't know what else could have.
It's kind of crazy like that Grand Theft Auto was like okay to be played by kids. It's crazy.
Yeah. That Grand Theft Auto did more damage and does and continue to do. Like, we always talk about rap music, right? But if I compare my experience growing up to the experience of these kids today, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's atrocious. Because by the age of 5, these kids would have seen 5 billion murders, 500 robberies, untold amount of rapes and all the stuff that they seeing on video games. That they're seeing on TV, they're seeing on the news. When I was growing up, and me and you was growing, you were a lot younger than me, we seen a portion of that in Westerns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These kids see triple that amount, and they have to actually do it to win the game. Yeah. When you give a person a kill, when he got a game, when he got to go kill this, kill that, what do you condition the mind to do?
Yeah. And at least like Call of Duty is like some war thing. You know what I mean? It's not like you're out in the street killing people.
But what game did I quote that I don't really play?
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Because what do they teach you to do?
Yeah. It's real
I went on Grand Theft Auto maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And I'm on there with a lot of my little homeboys is from my neighborhood. They actually have a little place where they tell you to go in the game, and they kick your ass. Like they put you on in the game.
They're doing it.
That shit was fucking amazing. Yes, that was amazing to me. And I'm like, y'all ain't, but no, we ain't gonna put you on,
Yeah, you ain't getting put on in a video game.
You ain't put me on in the video game. You know what I'm saying? But if I was to ever say you need to change one thing, video game, it's Grand Theft Auto.
Wow.
Like, just think about it.
So public statement, Big U is against Grand Theft Auto for sure.
No, I'm not against. I am 160% against youth under 14, 15
playing Grand Theft Auto for sure. I would agree. I wouldn't let my kids play it.
And a lot of people wouldn't. Not a lot of people who have concern on what's going into their kids' mind.
Let me ask you before I forget, what was it like seeing your son get drafted into the NFL?
Wow, let me just say this. Being facetious, I expected it.
Really? You're like, he's going.
Like, yeah. I expected it.
Like you never doubted it for a second?
I never doubted it. I've seen 12 kids. I've been a part of 12 kids prior to him going to the league.
So you know what it takes?
I know what it takes.
Let me ask you, what's the balance as being a parent to like pushing your kid too hard and pushing him hard enough?
I don't know that balance because sometimes I would question myself if I'm pushing too hard and if he don't make it, would it all make sense?
Yeah.
Would I I'm definitely not the person to answer that question.
Yeah, because it's like a hard thing because it's like,
because my nephew just moved with me
mm-hmm.
and I'm actually not doing to him what I did to my son. And I don't feel like he is where he should be. Like I'm not waking him up at 3 o'clock. Because this is the first year.
You wake up your son at 3 a.m.?
What? My son worked out at, I had an after hours. I would leave the after hours, 5 in the morning, go get him, wake him up. We go do the first workout. Do the hills, do the bars. He come home, shower up, and from there he go to school.
Wow.
Pick him up from school. If it wasn't football season, and we go work out, do the hills, up and down the hills, running, do all the different training, working the fast twitch muscle. And we continued the morning workout even through football season. The only time he didn't do the morning workout was on Fridays because he would have a game. And he had posted one video when he came from college, we did the workout.
So that's the discipline you've been learning all these years.
And it separated him from all the other kids.
How hard was it when there was days when he was like, I don't want to go, I don't want to do this?
Oh, here go the problem. I don't think he ever knew the difference. We had been doing it so long.
That it was just part of his life?
Part of his life.
Wow.
And I think his only not one to not.
Because for me, it's like, like I was so easily influenced as a kid. Like I didn't have the discipline. I also didn't have like a dad that was as disciplined as you, but it's like, I would get pulled away to the parties and stuff like that. Like, how did you battle that?
Because his ass knew he had to get up and go work out.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay,
yeah.
You want to go to the party? You know you got to get up and go work out.
Wow.
Like, we going to work out.
Yeah.
So whatever you choose to do in between that time, and then he had friends. So he went through that. He had to have that because he had friends, and instead of me allowing them to go other places, they came to my house. So I would have 5 kids in my house every day.
Wow.
And so he would have that question, but I think he kind of bought into it because of the problems his older brothers had. You know what I mean? So
he's seen that.
He actually had examples of what not to do.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So his brother was a superstar. His older brother was a superstar, a hell of an athlete. The same way, they looked the same, everything. One is just shorter. My youngest son is taller. But they look the same, 5% body fat, 220, 230, all muscle, and a hell of an athlete. But the his decision process depended him so differently. And one gave a chance, the other one didn't. And the difference in that, it goes to the absence of the father, because I was gone for 13 years.
So he didn't have that core discipline.
He didn't have that. So when I come home, now my youngest two have a father. And now they're able to be raised in a household with a father in it. And that goes to talking about incarceration and too much incarceration and separating the father from the house. That goes into welfare and moving the man out the house and all that stuff. So all of that's a big factor.
So when we were on the bus, you said that you guys are going to Vegas?
Yeah, we're going to Vegas.
You said you get me backstage for the Drake concert?
Yeah.
You're cool with Drake?
Yeah, that's my guy.
That's your friend? You're friends with Drake?
Yeah.
What's he like? Is he cool?
He real cool. Drake is down to earth.
Really?
Yeah, Drake is down to earth, man. He not a weirdo.
He's not a weirdo? He don't think he's like better than at all? He's down to earth?
Nope. He down to earth. Then again, it's kind of hard with me. Cause, it's like I'm
Yeah.
I don't ask him for nothing.
Yeah.
I don't pressure him for nothing. I've never asked him to do nothing. I don't never do that.
Yeah.
I don't go ask no celebrity for nothing. If they choose to do something, they want to do something, they do it. I don't ask nobody for nothing. Because I don't want to have nobody thinking,
I'm calling you because I need something.
And I don't want to be like pressuring nobody. I'll try to find a way to work with people. Like,
well, we could collab and do something that's beneficial for both of us.
Yeah, but I don't ask them, because then, you don't want to have someone like, I don't want to fit the stereotype when most people say, Big, you pressure artists when they land in LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just a Drake fan, so I was just wondering.
I got you.
Hey, thank you, bro.
Yeah. You say you're not going.
I'm going to the one in Miami, but I might go to Vegas if Milk lets me.
Yeah, you go to Vegas,
if Milk says we go to Vegas, I'll be out there.
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
But Milk
what?
A lot of people, he's worse than I.
He's worse. Yeah, who knows?
Really
Milk's the real big you.
Exactly.
Yeah, there'll be a TMZ article tomorrow.
Exactly.
Let me see what else we can cover. You got any hobbies that people don't know about? Like, you do something that
Video games.
Video games. You're just a gamer, huh?
I'm not really I can't say I'm a gamer because I'm not good.
Okay.
It's a lot of people that's better than me.
But like, you play 3 times a week?
No, I play
every day.
Yeah.
Damn.
Play every day.
You gotta be good. You're really good.
No, I'm not good. I'm old man good.
You know any celebrities that are like really good that you played with?
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown's good?
He hella good.
Wow.
Game is hella good at
Game's
2K.
Good too.
Chris Brown's hella good at Call of Duty.
Who's the GOAT?
I don't know if he's Game.
Game? Wow.
It is hard. It's kind of hard to say because Game only play with us. He don't even play with me. He'll come on, I'm gone. He won't even play with me because I'm not
that good.
I'm not good like that.
You're not good enough.
I'm not
to play
good like
with
that at 2K. But I'm good enough to play with anybody in Call of Duty though.
Okay.
I can hold my own. I can get my 7-8 kills.
What's your favorite gun in there?
They changed so much.
Yeah.
I'm using that
the Honey Badger?
No, I ain't using the Honey Badger.
The MP5?
Yeah, well, I'm using the MP4.
MP4?
The old one.
The old one.
I went right back
from Die Hard?
Unchained Fury. I use the Unchained Fury. And then I'm using the water gun. So I use the water gun. That's one of my classes. I got all the classes filled up.
All right.
I'm classed up.
I see that.
I get out of Call of Duty.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I don't use. I'm true to it. I don't use no female skins. I don't use. Use one of these faster and this slimmer. Go ahead. That's just too weird. This skin, this voice coming out the skin. I'm gonna shoot you if I could, but
hey, voice is coming out the skin.
I don't do it. I'm solid.
Hey, well, I want to appreciate you for coming out the show. It's been fun.
Yes, sir.
Kyle has an exit, so I appreciate that you can tell your story and people can get to see like the other side of Big U.
It's only one side.
One side.
No,
I think there's one side that like the media sees. You know.
What side is that? That's the good side.
That's the good side, I guess.
Because the media only represents me good.
Yeah.
It's the internet.
It's
the shit-internet.
The shit-internet.
It's the shit-internet that says all the bullshit.
That's true.
That's not true.
Of course.
They're going to cut this interview up, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to say I said a whole lot of shit.
They're going to say something else. Yeah.
Oh, he meant this. And, you know what I'm saying? Because that's why I stopped doing interviews.
Yeah, because they make it look bad no matter what.
I stopped doing interviews. I stopped doing my show. This is the first interview I've done.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. We milk harassment.
I know.
But I'm glad though because you're the first one
thank you.
to actually come see my kids.
Hey,
so that's the difference.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
I can't play football, so I was like just out of my element there.
What did you play?
Nothing, man. I did drugs. I never played no sports.
That's crazy. Drug or sport?
I struck out in T-ball. My dad made fun of me, and I never played sports again.
Wow.
I struck out in T-ball, and on the way home, I was in the back. All my friends were in the Suburban. I was in the back, and my dad was like, wow, I cannot believe that. I wish we would have filmed it. We could have sent this to the Guinness Book of World Records. There's no way Bryan struck out in T-ball. The ball is on a tee. and I cried. And like a week later, I was doing drugs.
Oh my God, I gotta change my philosophy. I gotta stop hollering at these kids
there you go.
when they drop balls and do all
yeah.
Like, I gotta stop.
You know what? I was really sensitive growing up, and I always played with. So I read a book called Blink, and in Blink they talk about how the one metric in athletes that they have is that most athletes that make it to like the NFL or like the league are born at the top of their year, at the top of their age group. So they're almost a year older than almost all the other kids.
Not my son.
Well, he's a rarity.
Yeah, he's the youngest.
He's the youngest?
He's always been the youngest.
A lot of kids are born in the top of their year, and they're, a year as a kid is a big difference in size and skill level. Mm-hmm. So as a young age, they're told that they're good and they're told that they're talented. So it kind of gets into their psyche. And then they start getting the special attention from the coaches and stuff like that. And then someone like me who's born at the end of the year.
No, what year were you born? November?
November.
Born November what?
9th.
I'm November 29th.
You're a Scorpio?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Sagittarius?
My son is a Scorpio. He's November 18th.
Oh, he must be cold.
Yeah, the one you went to the one to leave. He's November 18th.
Wow.
He's November 18th.
My dad's November 8th.
Yeah, I'm November.
That's crazy.
My mother's November 15th. My sister's 17th. And we are all like right there.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Well, and then I'm November 29th.
But for me, I was always the smallest and the youngest out of all my every sport I ever played. So I was always like, I was always told like I suck, I'm not good. The other kids are better than me.
No, you were just not good. I don't think it was not.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
No, because I mean,
you sound like my dad. My dad's like, nah, fuck all that. You just suck at baseball.
Oh man, no, baseball. I grew up, like I said.
Yeah, you said baseball is your first love.
Baseball was my only sport because karate, I had to go.
Okay.
After I got to a certain age, because that was when my mother, I had to catch the bus with my sister and them, and they was doing karate until my mother let them do cheer. So they did karate. But my mom like, you get to play one sport, and that was baseball.
So you play baseball.
So baseball, then they put the tennis court at Vantage Park, and then we played tennis. So I knew how to play tennis, and swimming just came like, I was just swimming.
You swam too?
Yeah.
You wore the little Speedos?
No, I wouldn't wear those. I was like, I didn't have a good print. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, my print ain't right, man.
My print ain't right.
The print ain't right, man. You ain't got a print, you can't.
Wow.
Like, no, I didn't wear those.
Yeah, all right, cool.
You know what I'm saying?
But you can swim.
Oh, yeah, I swim like a motherfucker.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if I got the wind to swim now, but yeah, I used to swim.
Yeah, nah, for me, it was straight drugs.
That's crazy. All over T-ball.
All over T-ball.
T-ball. Your father still living?
Yeah. He'll bring it up today all the time.
It was T-ball.
If you come over to my house to eat, he'll be like, hey, let me tell you about the time Bryan struck out in T-ball. He still brings it up.
How tall are you?
Like 5'11".
Man, you would have been a good athlete too.
I do jiu-jitsu. I could run. I run. I like.
Okay, so
I don't like. Age? You know what? I don't like team sports. When I do team sports, like if you allow me to have too much downtime, I get in trouble. So in a team sport, when they're talking, there's a group of kids, and I know that I don't have to pay attention the whole time. I'll like start thinking about other things.
Then your problem wasn't the fact that you weren't good. Your problem was the fact you just didn't run into the right coach.
Probably.
Because coaches bring stuff out of people. Like I said, I wasn't a good football player until
you had a good coach.
I had a coach named Womack. He rests in peace now, who actually taught me how to play the game, taught me how to what I was supposed to do. And he like, you big, and he showed me how to play the game. So now I went from not starting to actually moving up. So it was just
I don't think I gave myself enough of a chance. And then as soon as I did drugs, it was just
because there's always gonna be somebody better than you. Because coming up, I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best in our family at karate. You know what I mean? But then in the streets, I was immaculate.
Yeah.
It was like I wasn't the best always in point fighting because it was you couldn't hit so hard. But when it was in the streets,
you could do whatever you want.
It was like, no, I'm the one.
You saw the streets like a sport?
Yeah, I still see it as a sport.
Still see it as a sport, yeah.
Because, you know, my haters, I look at them like, and then, you know. But I always say this. I like to say this, and I'm going to impart this. I'm going to look at the camera and say this. My haters, they wish for my downfall. But if I was to take a downfall, what kind of person would I then become? You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Because if I was broke and I was down and out, I would think down and out, and I would think broke. I would then be mad at all the people who wish for my downfall.
Of course.
Then I would be what you wanted me to be. And I don't think you wanted me. So keep praying for me to be successful.
And I think like a lot of people who hate on the internet, they're just trying to get a reaction half the time. It's like, you know.
No, we're going to pray for them.
For sure.
But you have an assignment.
Yes, sir.
You need to go look up Martin Luther.
I'll check it out.
And see what happened. Because that's a really interesting story on how we got to this country. And it plays a lot in the education or the miseducation of the teachings of the books that's in this country.
For sure. I'll check it out.
It's really
Yeah.
nice. You know what I mean? And we going to Vegas. We've already been in Vegas by the time y'all see this.
For sure.
You know, we'll do a pickup, probably live on Instagram, and we'll talk about what happened in Vegas.
All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, man.